Morning. Hope you're having a good cup of coffee. I read the news every morning. I'm not sure it brings me peace of mind, but I feel like it's my obligation to kind of keep up to date as to what's going on around me. So that's what I do. More important to me is my community. In steps, this house is the household community, obviously the most important. My neighbors around me, then the street, then the neighborhood, then the area right around me, the larger neighborhood. We have several subdivisions right around. So I guess at that point you're starting to talk about the county. So the county, state news, national news, and world news. And I think it's important for all of us to stay up to date on it until it affects our well-being. I see a lot of very angry people posting a lot of very angry things on Facebook. I keep saying it, but I don't feel like I can stress it enough. I'm a libertarian. I believe that property rights are the basis for most rights that we all have. That goes right down to our own personal rights. We own ourselves. We can't unown ourselves. Everything we have starts from that perspective. I have a cat who's trying to get my lunch. We can't have that. Hey, buddy. That's my lunch. Definitely can't have the cat eating my chicken. They get very high in cat food. He has a special requirement diet. He must have. My cat kind of is a lot like me. If he gets cheap cat food, he gets crystals in his urine. It causes him a lot of pain, so we have to buy him some specialized food. And then the other cats can't stay out of it. Evidently it tastes a lot better. So we just feed the specialized food to all the cats. But my cat, me and my cat, we get kidney stones, or the feline equivalent thereof for him. At any rate, it's our responsibility to stay up to date. But there's a lot of people who are posting on the social media a lot of ugliness, a lot of untruths. Both sides. I'm not picking a side. You can't. You shouldn't. Obviously you can, but you shouldn't post things that you know are not true. You shouldn't post things that might lead someone down a path that is a path and a belief system based upon an untruth, based upon a lie. It's difficult to look and see things that you want to believe, and say, yeah, that's probably right, but if I do a little bit of research, I find out it's wrong. You shouldn't post that. You know it's wrong. Also, I noticed that, especially when it comes to things like Trump or Biden or that sort of thing, the opposition only posts the negative. And that just reinforces my belief that you're participating in team sport. It is hard to recognize when you do something wrong, and it is hard to apologize. It's a skill set that you must cultivate if you want to be a person of integrity and honesty. You must cultivate the ability to recognize when you're wrong, when you have wronged somebody, and when it is time to apologize and be ethical and not bury it inside yourself and just let it go, and that person remains wronged, harmed. A lot of this is coming to the front of my mind right now because of a meeting that I have tonight. And I'm going to have a discussion with someone who I consider to be my peer, and someone who I came to respect and love. But I will have to call them out on some things that I don't want to. But number one, character must be defended. And number two, the innocence of others must be defended. So it can't be left unchallenged. It is hard to admit when one is wrong. I'm wrong a lot. When I recognized that in myself, it became much easier to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong about that. I apologize to my wife when I'm wrong. I apologize to other people when I'm wrong. It's not that hard once you recognize it for what it is. Scientists recognize when their suppositions, or I'm not a scientist, so I don't have the vernacular to or the verbiage to say in their words what they do. But if they do an experiment with an expected outcome and the outcome is different than what they expected, then they're wrong. Well, we have to apply that across all social standards of our lives. When you're wrong, you're wrong. And you should admit it to yourself mostly. And if you're wrong somebody else, you should apologize to them. It's called Rambling with Joe. So I got my Joe, I'm Joe, and I'm rambling. I started this line of thought thinking about news and my responsibility to stay up on news. And I was going down the path of if the news is affecting you in a negative way, sometimes you have to take a break. That's where I was trying to head. I ended up on that topic that's just, hopefully I'll put that aside tonight. But definitely, if the news is affecting you poorly, even though we have a responsibility to stay up on the news, take a break. Take a day. Take a week if you need to. Don't go around miserable. You're going to see enough headlines to make sure that you're at least aware if there's a revolution. Uh, don't don't hurt yourself in the process of fulfilling your responsibilities. You can do both. You can be healthy, you can be mentally at peace, and you can stay up to date on current events. Not just national news, world news, local news. Don't forget, we have a community. We have a local community. We have people around us that affect us more than people in Washington or people at the UN. These people, your neighbors, they affect you more. The barking dog next door will affect you more today than a decision made in Washington that they make today will affect you. A big ship is hard to turn. So a decision made in Washington will take weeks, if not months, and sometimes years to take effect. That barking dog, that guy next door, that lady next door, may have tuned out the dog, may have gotten so used to it that they're not even aware the dog's barking. I don't have this particular problem. I have some neighbors that have this problem. I don't have a dog. I know my neighbor, let's see, I got three neighbors that have dogs. I never hear their dog. I never. I mean, if I'm walking outside, I'll hear their dog, but I never hear their dog. More rambling. So, your community around you is as, if not more, important than the national community. The national community is important, don't get me wrong. But your neighbors are important. I have a very, how do you say this? I'm not close friends with my neighbors. We're not buddies. I don't go drinking with them. I don't drink much. They don't come over. I don't go to their house. I'm kind of a introvert, believe it or not. But I know my neighbors. I see my neighbors. When I do see them, I say hello, have words with them, ask them how they're doing. It's important. It's important to touch base with the people around your base. Stay up to date on the news. Stay up to date on your neighbors. Cultivate community. Enjoy your day and have a great cup of coffee. I intend to finish this one in about 30 minutes, and then I'm on my way to work. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, I'm not supposed to slurp.